Please help me welcome the most gorgeous man in media, Don Lemon, to help us dissect the Free Ghislaine movement, Don. That's where we are now. As DOJ meets with Ghislaine Maxwell, Trump's right-wing media allies are preparing for the unthinkable teaming up with convicted sex trafficker to save Trump. MAGA's Free Ghislaine campaign is already underway. And I was just telling Kyle, I don't have words for this, for people that have been in the rabbit hole of conspiracy on all these pedophile rings. Now they're Free Ghislaine. Like, help me understand. I don't get it.
I'm with you. This is probably going to be in a grief fest, but I'm just going to tell you that I am fucking outraged by it because we have to remember there are real victims here.
Yeah,
there are, and we know that Ghislaine Maxwell went to, she went to prison. She was convicted for these things. Jeffrey Epstein went to prison, was convicted, and died in prison, killed himself. That's according to what we know from the files. I think that these folks will do anything. People have been, really upset. Really happy saying, oh, some folks, the MAGA folks are finally turning against Donald Trump. Okay, maybe, but they always seem to come back home.
Yeah.
And then now they're trying to defend him because the only person that there's any comparison to, the only person left in all of this, unless we get hold of the files, is Ghislaine Maxwell, and she's sitting in prison. So if Ghislaine Maxwell was somehow wrongfully convicted, and if she is freed, then that means that Donald Trump is innocent and should be free of any consequences as well. That's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. And the other day when, they came up with this whole bullshit excuse. This is why, let me tell you, it's bullshit. When they came up with this whole bullshit excuse about President Barack Obama allegedly doing something, whatever, to try to just throw people off the Jeffrey Epstein story. And Caroline Leavitt was asked by a reporter in the briefing room, do you think Barack Obama should go to jail? And she said, the president believes that anyone who is found guilty or is at least of a crime or whatever it is should suffer the consequences. No one in that briefing room said, well, what about Donald Trump?
Right.
Who was convicted on 34 counts? Why is that? Does that mean the same thing for him? And then if she goes on to answer that and then just say, doesn't Donald Trump think that presidents should be immune from prosecution?
Right.
So then Barack Obama was president of the United States as well. Wouldn't that mean he's immune from prosecution? So then why even go through all of this unless there's no reason, unless you are trying to change the subject. So they're changing the subject at the White House. Donald Trump's supporters are changing the subject to Ghislaine Maxwell. The attorney, what's his name? God, I can't even think about
Todd Blanche.
Todd Blanche is meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah. They're trying to come up with a deal of some sort to keep her, I believe, to keep her quiet. It's all a scam. I'm sorry. And so I'm more outraged, I believe, than you.
I'm without words. And that Tim Burchett, since you brought it up, he is now saying, well, if she comes and testifies, we'll give her a deal. My thing is, you have someone that's convicted 20 years in prison. The only way she can get out, the only way is a presidential pardon. So all she has to do for that is say, Trump was never a part of it. That he was never, in fact, he was freeing little girls that Jeffrey had in his, in his trap. His supporters will be like, okay, done deal. He's good. Right. And it's
but how are you going to believe anything that comes out of, I'm sorry to cut you off. How are you going to believe anything that comes out of Todd Blanche's mouth? How are you going to believe anything that comes out of Pam Bondi's mouth? How are you going to know what actually happened during that meeting? Because they want to meet with her before she actually comes in to be deposed.
Right.
So what are they trying? They're trying to, I guess, get ahead of it. And I believe that's why Mike Johnson sent the Congress home early.
Yep.
It's because he didn't want them to have any access to her early. He wants Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche to get in there and find out what's going on. I'm sure the president or Pam Bondi or someone probably asked, hold off on this until we get a handle on what she knows. and
Right.
what's going on and get her side of the story so that we can come up with our side of the story and then present her with a deal and then give us something that will make sense that we can sell to the public. That's what I believe is going on.
No, I completely agree. And also, she was denied, Ghislaine Maxwell, when she was arrested at her bail hearing, there was a finding by the court that said she lies so much. Here it says, in 2020, the government cited Maxwell's willingness to brazenly lie under oath as a reason to deny her bail. Now her entire life is in the government's control. Here's the deal. A week from now, we'll be talking about how she's getting a pardon or she's getting her sentence commuted or she's going to come testify. And she said he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it's gross. And these people that are so pro-children that are rubber stamping this, when we have Maria Farmer is a victim, and she said she told the FBI on 2 occasions about Trump. There are other people, the list is long as my arm, of people that are coming out now against him about the Trump modeling agency. You've got the report where he had a party for like 14-year-old calendar girls, and he and Jeffrey were the only people there. Like birds of a feather flock together. And it's so fucking gross.
Have you seen this 2010 deposition with Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes. Where he takes the fifth?
Well, he takes the fifth. And he said, have you ever been in a situation, or I'm paraphrasing here, it's not a direct quote, but basically saying, have you ever been in any sort of situation with Donald Trump and underage girls? And he said, I plead the fifth, I think he said the 14th and the 16th Amendments.
Yeah. The answer to that question is no. If you haven't done it.
Right.
But it's so gross. And even on Newsmax, I saw a clip where they're saying, well, you have to give Ghislaine, she might be a victim. They're victimizing a child predator. Mm-hmm. And like, I knew some people would do the mental gymnastics, but let me ask you this. You were in media, have been forever in the, old fashioned legacy media. You have Rupert Murdoch, whose Wall Street Journal is just going after him hard. And then you have Fox News that's covering, like they're still talking about Biden and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Do these 2 things ever merge, or do they continue down this road?
You mean, wait.
The separation of church and state, like Wall Street Journal's going after him, Fox is covering for him.
I think at a certain point they won't be able to cover for him the more it comes out, unless and until it comes out, and they care about ratings if they even talk about it. Now, that's over on the Fox News. Okay. So if it improves their ratings, and they will talk about it more, I'm sure, but not so much where it damages Donald Trump. The Wall Street Journal, which is also Fox News is Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News. Rupert Murdoch also owns the Wall Street Journal, right? And Donald Trump is suing the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch, Dow Jones, et cetera, News Corp. I have to give the Wall Street Journal their props. If you go back and look, especially the editorial page, if you go back and look over the course of time, they're reporting on Donald Trump, especially this particular, his second administration, his second term. They have held his feet to the fire more so than many in mainstream media and in the so-called left-leaning media, because I think the folks in the left-leaning media and the mainstream media are afraid of Donald Trump, as you see with all of these settlements and mergers and acquisitions, and they're just afraid that they're not going to get anything by Brendan Carr, the FCC chair, yada, yada, yada. But I think Rupert Murdoch is like, I don't really care. I will be here after Donald Trump is president. I was here before Donald Trump is president. I have seen this movie before similarly, and I have survived. And I also don't believe that the Wall Street Journal would have put anything in print, and Rupert Murdoch knew about it, right? If they did not have the correct sourcing. So they started with, when they were sued, with the drawing from the birthday, and then now another bombshell that Donald Trump was told that he was in the Epstein files in May, and he stood on the White House lawn with Caroline Leavitt just the other day and lied and said that he was not told. So I don't know if the two will merge. I think at some point Fox News will have to come to the conclusion, or they just won't cover it, and they will just cover other things and make it maybe a headline or just an update. I should say, not a headline, an update, and then move on.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that because right now that's what we're doing. But you would just think at some point you would have to reveal the truth. But before I let you go, what about Stephen Colbert's fired because he's anti-Trump, because he speaks the truth.
Yeah.
And then South Park torches Trump to the nth degree, brutally mocking his teeny tiny manhood. Have you seen the clip, the AI clip of his teeny weeny that they did? Jeffrey Epstein scandal, in bed with Satan. I could not believe my eyeballs. You haven't seen
I'm going to watch it, Pumps, but I didn't want to. And I woke up this morning and my team sent it to me. And I'm like, I can't watch this now. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it. But I have seen the stills from it. And oh my gosh. But you remember they did this with Saddam Hussein. That's where it started. And so now they're mocking him in the same manner that they mock Saddam Hussein. Look, you know what Stormy Daniels said about Donald Trump's man.
Right.
He's a little mushroom. So
he's a little nubbin. But here's the deal. I have called it from jump.
As Barack Obama would say.
Right. It's this big. So many of the men that surround him, and himself included, you can tell they have deep insecurity about their masculinity and their manhood. I don't know if it's in that order, but Donald Trump is like, when people started saying he had little hands and he freaked out, I was like, oh, well, that tells me all I need to know. But I mean, it's just like these little tiny insecure men. These are the spots we find ourselves in with them. It's just, it's unbelievable. And Pam Bondi, oh my gosh, she has no soul, none.
Well, the reason I said that you can't trust, will we trust anything that comes out of Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi's mouth? No, because Todd Blanche was Donald Trump's defense attorney, right? And so he's acting in his role as supposedly the deputy attorney general. He's acting as if he's Donald Trump's personal attorney. And as the attorney general, Pam Bondi is acting as if she is Donald Trump's personal attorney as well. They're not going to do anything that Donald Trump doesn't tell them to do. They're not going to paint Donald Trump in a bad light in any way. And they're going to do whatever it is, whatever is within their power, either covertly behind the scenes or publicly, to make sure that they take care of Donald Trump and they paint him in the best light possible, and that he weasels his way out of this.
No, I completely agree.
It's gross.
It's so gross. And these people with the free Ghislaine Maxwell shirts, I can't. I mean, it's just like we have reached I did not know. I thought we were at the bottom with Donald Trump and the racism and the cruelty and the homophobia and the bullying and the misogyny. Now we're pro-pedophile at MAGA. It's unbelievable how craven these people are.
Yes. And you can see it's so obvious that he is unraveling and that he is unnerved by this. You can see it in his body language. You can hear it in his voice and in his inflections. And the shit that he sells is not selling. The selling is not selling. Right? Like they say, the math is not mathing. And I think even many of his own supporters, I believe, can see through it, even though they don't want to admit it. They can see through it, and it is penetrating. His poll numbers are down among independents, obviously among Democrats. Overall in America, Republicans still love him. They still support him 80 or 90%. But I believe that is going to change, because I think it takes time, as you know, it takes time for things to trickle down. Right. For people to really, everyone is not sitting in front of the television all day or, getting news alerts all day. I think it takes time for these things to penetrate.
I hope you're right. I mean, I did see his poll numbers, like 37% approval rating. So, I mean, there is hope, but I'm like, who are these 37% that are all in on this? But
turn on the Manosphere Bro podcast or some of them and you'll see it. But let me tell you, I have a good spidey sense. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
As I have been telling my subscribers, the story is Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Mm-hmm. Epstein, that is the story to continue to cover. I had said I don't believe this was the thing that's going to take him down, but I'm going back. I'm waffling on that a little bit, but I do believe that this breaks the spell. This is penetrating. This breaks I love you, Donald Trump. You can do no wrong. Even with all your lies, you're not lying to us. I think that this does break the spell, because he is exposed, and he has exposed all the people around him who have been covering for him or lying about this whole thing that it's a conspiracy. Jeffrey Epstein's story is not a conspiracy. It's real.
Right. No, it is real. And here's the deal. You know why I believe you, Dawn? Because we saw you right before the election and you said, I think Donald Trump's going to win. And I was like, no, Dawn, no. And you're like, I kind of feel it.
Yeah.
Turns out you're right. So I hope you're right on this, because this would be much better news.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to look, it's still, and if it does happen, I mean, we'd have JD Vance, but I don't know if it's going to go that far, but I just think that, he's no longer, this makes him no longer a deity or a god to some in the movement, not all of them, but to some, and enough where it's going to affect and break the MAGA spell. This could be the beginning of the end of the MAGA movement.
I hope you're right. You guys follow Dawn at Hot Topics. I know you're a Lemon Head.
Don Lemon Show. Just go to the Don Lemon Show on the YouTube, the Don Lemon Show on the iHeart, the Apple Podcast, the Spotify, and wherever you get your streaming. And we stream live. You know, we're live every day, weekday, 10 a.m. and at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're just bringing you live updates. That's what I love to do.
Yeah. And you're so good at it. Thank you for coming on, and we'll talk soon. Stick with us for more news, like, and subscribe to our channel.